Happy Farmin' FriYAY. I'm Devin O'Day, and we are going to be talking about actually not farms, but you know what? If you got a little piece of land, you got a yard, you're farming. You're farming in your own special way. We're going to meet a youth farmer that will inspire us all in our motivational moment. But we're going to start the show with a little tree planting instruction. A lot of the area nurseries, parks, and our extension services have had some free tree giveaways and some bare root trees. And a lot of people get them because they were free. And they go, what do I do with them now? Well, we're kicking off our show with instructions on how to plant bare root trees. Not too hard. It's a lot, you know, when you get them and you kind of look at it as a big project, but let's just take it down to one tree at a time.
Tennessee Wholesale Nursery presents How to Plant Bare Root Trees. Bare root trees need to have their roots soaked in water for at least 2 hours before planting. First, dig a hole twice the size of the plant's root ball or root area. Make sure you aren't forcing the roots into a hole that's too small, as this will stunt growth. After this, place soil firmly around the roots. Immediately water the tree and keep it regularly watered for the next few weeks so that the roots can get established. After that, nature will do the rest. You can find bare root trees and much more on our website at tnnursery.net.
So, I got a DUI. Mom, Dad.
Why didn't you just call someone for a ride?
I wasn't thinking ahead. I didn't think I was gonna get caught. Yeah, my best friend Tim.
Still coming to my bachelor party next month?
This DUI cost me 10 grand. So, no. Yeah, you, in the back.
Did you know I almost died when you hit me?
I didn't think this would affect so many people.
You think it was worth it?
No more questions.
We are in a holiday time and, you know, we celebrate and we are celebrating life. And after the last 2 years, celebrations tend to be maybe more festive even than they used to be. So don't drink and drive. It's just driving sober, and being sober saves lives. It does. And so we want to encourage you, if you are going to partake of adult beverages, to make sure that you utilize things like Sober Ride, Uber, taxis, or just a designated driver. It's always easy to find those. And it's so easy that it makes me wonder why anybody ever drives inebriated at all. And 2 drinks put you over the limit. Let's just remember, 2 drinks over the limit. And especially if you're not eating when you're drinking. So I just be careful when you're out there. Speaking of eating, it's time for our Daily Yummy. And my friend Tammy Allgood, who is an incredible cook, chef, and her recipes and her stories about food are in our Tennessee magazine. And I want to encourage you to keep your mind on all of those winter squashes, pumpkins, and vegetables. She has a very nice tip in how to safely prepare them.
We all love winter squash and pumpkins, but sometimes cutting into these can be very difficult. So one of the ways to do this easily so that you don't have to cut into this when it's all wobbly and everything on your cutting board, is to roast these whole. Now, the key to this is that you need to make sure that you're not using a flimsy baking sheet. You need one that's very sturdy because this is going to be heavy. It's lightly greased on the bottom so that this does not stick to the pan. And then you can do several at one time and just stick these in the oven. You're going to preheat your oven to about 350, and then all you need to do is make sure that a ice pick can stick in there. It's going to take about an hour, but again, the larger ones might take a little bit longer, so you may be pulling some out and leaving some in. It's been 1 hour, so now we're going to test all of these and see if they're ready. That one's ready. This one's ready. Ready? Again, just use an ice pick to do this. This one is not. So this one will go back in. These are ready to slice open. And then you're going to see how easy it is to cut these. And again, just scoop out as normal the seeds and the fibers, and you've got a roasted winter squash that's ready to use.
If you're going to be at the grocery store, the Pick TN products, they're having their conference this month, and there are so many great products right here from Tennessee, locally grown, locally sourced. That's the way we do it here on Main Street today. And I want to encourage you to meet another Nashville, Middle Tennessee. She's brand new. She moved here right before last year's Homestead Festival. She is called Anne of All Trades. And a lot of us throw away a lot of stuff that could be used, including wood chips and things like that can turn into, or even our coffee grounds. Oh my gosh. Let's find out how to make a compost bin in 18 days.
3-bin composting system that will turn this into this. So I'm going to make 2 stalls using these pallets. These 2 stalls will be on either side, and then I'll just put a pallet in the back in the middle to sturdy the whole structure up. I'm going to add a couple of scraps from the school build, and we'll get this thing nice and strong. Let's secure this guy in. Can I help you, sir? I'm going to fill this first bin up with wood chips so that I have easy access to carbons or browns. We have our carbon base. We're gonna add some kitchen scraps. Ugh, that has been sitting for a while. Some lawn clippings, also sitting for a day. Blech. I'm gonna add some clippings from the garden, whatever Howdy will share for me. I chop these up really good, so we don't create an anaerobic environment in there. A little layer of carbon. Now I'm adding in a layer of coffee grounds from my local coffee shop. By the way, these are fantastic greens. Even though they're technically black, they have all kinds of nitrogen and other goodies still in the hull of the coffee bean. This is on my daily walking path so that I see this and I'm reminded to check on it on a regular basis, right by the barn where I'm getting animal waste as I'm cleaning it, right next to the garden where I can take that finished compost and put it into the garden. We're a week in with this compost and it is so cool how it's been working. Day 2, it was up to 160 degrees. This is almost too hot to touch. It is breaking down so quickly and it's starting to turn black, but holy moly, I'm like gonna burn my hand. The fact that this still has a smell to it on the inside of the pile, but I can't smell it on the outside of the pile, is proof that the carbon sponge is doing its job. Regardless of what you put in your pile, how many times you flip it, how long it's been, if you watch my beginner's guide to composting video, you know that the measure of finished compost is whether or not you can distinguish things that you originally put into the pile as you're taking them out. What I definitely don't want to see as I'm doing this is any chunks of vegetables or, you know, any discernible items that look exactly the same way they did when I put them in here. I mean, even these wood chunks, like are so much smaller now than they were when they first came in. So I know that the composting did its job. We made a free composting cheat sheet that you can print out and take with you wherever you go. You can find that on my Squarespace website, annofalltrades.com. While you're there, there are tons of other blog posts about composting, fixing your soil, how to stop watering your garden, and all kinds of other useful things when it comes to actually turning trash into treasure. I use the store on my Squarespace site to sell all kinds of things. T-shirts like the First Harvest t-shirt I'm wearing in this video, project plans, other merchandise, and spoons. I've been using Squarespace to host my website since I started my business in 2012. It is a fantastic platform for people who are not super tech savvy like me to take everything that I want to put out there into the world and drag and drop it into a beautiful artist design template that then puts it out there into the world. Squarespace would be a great resource for you if you want to start your own blog or if you want to start selling some things online. So check out squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/AnnofAllTrades for a 10% discount.
I love Ann of All Trades. I met her at the Homestead Festival. I mean, I saw her. I didn't meet her. I got to be realistic. I did not meet her. I want to meet her because I think she's just adorable. She has plans that she sells, like how to make different things that everything that she has, you don't have to, you can buy them already made. She has wooden spoons that she makes. She's a woodworker. She's a farmer. I just love everything about her. So Ann with an E of alltrades.com. And if you want to create your own web space and you want to be in the interwebs, squarespace.com/Ann of all trades to save 10%. Just love her. Just love her. You know, my dad and my grandfather taught me how to bow hunt. Now, I was a terrible hunter, but I did love archery as a sport. And I use the old compound bows, but they have so many new things. It's a really fun sport for kids to get them started. And our friends at Tractor Supply have a few tips if you have a young hunter-to-be or whether they just want to do sport hunting with target practice.
Bow hunting is more popular than ever right now, and people come up to me all the time asking how can they get started, or that their kids are interested and they want to know the best way to get them involved. Here are a few tips to help you get started. The first thing I tell everyone is to make sure you have a bow that fits your body type. Ask your local dealer to help you find one that fits you and measure the proper draw length, which is the distance between the bowstring and the grip when you're at full draw. Now, this may be tough for a growing kid, so it might be better to start off with a less expensive starter bow set for them, since they'll probably outgrow it before next season. Also, make sure your arrow stiffness matches the bow weight that you'll be shooting. If you're not sure what stiffness of arrows you need, ask your local dealer. Having arrows that are too weak for your bow can be dangerous for both you and anyone around you. The next biggest factor in being a good bow hunter is practice. Practice, practice. Spend time fine-tuning the sighting of your bow, shoot at different size targets, get used to the motion and feel, and learn to draw it back the same way every time. When you're out in the field with your eye on the prize, you'll be glad you did. It's also a good idea to wear similar clothes to what you would hunt in while you're practicing, just to keep your shooting consistent. Practicing will also help you figure out the distance you can shoot accurately. When hunting from a stand or blind, make sure your shooting lanes are clear of branches and anything else that could interfere with the shot. If an arrow even brushes a branch or leaves, it can send it wildly off target, making you miss the animal or even worse, injure someone close by. These are just a few starter tips. There's no guarantee of success when hunting. Some days the weather can affect your hunt. Other times the animals don't want to cooperate with you. But these tips can give you an edge when bow hunting. The better prepared you are for the field or woods, the better the odds of successfully shooting your prey. Good luck.
You know, before you jump on me about being a hunter, I was raised by hunters. I was raised in a hunting family, and I think that our wildlife, to keep them preserved and keep them in control as far as their population controlled and thing. That responsible hunting is a way that we do that. And our good TWRA folks help us with our seasons and keeping all of our plots built up so that nothing is starving. And the population growth and population control is how we control that and how we help it. Let's talk about landscaping. My friend Dalton Quigley has Nashville Landscape Design. And when you're replacing things with old brick, with new paver stones, he did this in one area location and it just looks fabulous. But he didn't throw away the old brick. What did he do? Well, just stay tuned. You'll find out.
Guys, this is Dalton Quigley with Quigley's Landscaping. Let's take a look at another one of our beautiful projects. Here in Nashville, we took up a brick walkway, and this is the brick from it. Take a look at this. It's super cool. The brick even has the name of the manufacturer. Let's take a look at what we built where the old brick walkway was. So remember, we're just replacing the square footage that was there. So this isn't the normal 3 foot wide or 4 foot wide walkway that we did. We're simply replacing what was there. Let's take a look at this paver too. It's a 3-piece, so there's a square, a rectangle, and then a twin piece. So right here, we can break those up. And from here, here's a wall we built a couple years ago here. And as you come up the walkway, the client can now go to her mailbox. Just imagine if this was your property. You know, you want to replace an old walkway so that now you can walk on something new and beautiful. You know, this neighborhood is undergoing a lot of changes. This is an older home. But right over here, a very modern home. So this client is updating her landscape. And we put a drain in because this upper area drains down here, so it won't be tracking dirt across the walkway. And that's it. That's the job for today. Thank you for watching one of my videos. And I'll see you at your project. 615-715-8216. I'm Dalton Quigley with Quigley's Landscaping. See you soon. Bye.
I love Dalton. I love his little hat. He's my favorite. I just think, and Quigley, Dalton Quigley, Quigley's Landscape Design, same as Nashville Landscape Design. And he can show you on an iPad what his designs look like in your yard before you even dig a hole to put a plant in. I just think that's so cool. It saves you a lot of money and a lot of time and determines what you're going to like. It's like, you know how people plant things, they go, oh man, I had no idea that would look like this. Well, you can have an idea if you call Dalton. And he gives lots of great ideas for what you're doing. And I know that he's going to use that reclaimed brick. I just know Dalton too well. Hey, let's look at Cheekwood because we don't have very long to take advantage of the pumpkin castles and the pumpkin houses. They are going to be pulling everything back from Halloween on October 30th. So if you want to see the pumpkin patches as they are for Halloween and for the beginning of fall, you better go now.
Hi, my name is Shannon Pruitt. I'm a garden supervisor here at Cheekwood. I want to welcome you to our pumpkin patch for Harvest 2022. We have a few new things I want to introduce you to that we're very excited about. We have a third pumpkin house, which you'll see directly behind me. It's a different shape. It has a whole different look to it, so we're very excited. It really brings our pumpkin village to life. We have our other two houses that you may have seen in years prior, but they look new and different with different pumpkin selections. When you're looking at our pumpkin houses, make sure to look at the roofs, make sure to look at the window boxes, the planters. There's all kinds of stuff to see. We also will have corn dig pits for little kids. They can search for mini pumpkins inside of loose corn, something to keep them occupied for a little while you sip on a drink and enjoy your time in our pumpkin patch. We've got 10,000 plus pumpkins for you to enjoy within our garden space.
When you come visit us at Cheekwood, make sure you come visit the color garden where you'll see a mum explosion. We have colors of red, orange, yellow, white. We also have plant-themed scarecrows in our seasons garden, which is very fun for the kids. Bring your friends and family out to Cheekwood to see our pumpkin village. Lots of great Instagram photo spots.
That's a great Christmas gift to a family membership to Cheekwood. Cheekwood.org for all your information. Be sure to check in with Elizabeth, who joined us on Taste of Nashville. You can go back and see our previous shows, Taste of Nashville, on our app, MSM TV, Main Street Media TV. Download our app. It's free. Or you can go to YouTube, of course, and find it very easily. Fall is the time to plant grasses, and you want to plant cool, hardy grasses to keep your yards intact during the winter. They are easier than you think to do. Our UT Extension Service gives us a lot of points. Let's go to Rutherford County now, Murfreesboro.
My name is Mitchell Moat, and I'm an extension agent here in the Rutherford County Extension Service office located in Murfreesboro. This morning, we're standing out here. This is the third week of October, and we're standing in our turf grass demonstration area here at the office at Lane Agri Park, which is the name of the complex where the extension office is located. And we're standing here in some newly overseeded or newly renovated cool season turf grass areas. And I wanted to talk just a few minutes this morning about newly seeded turf grass, weed management newly seeded turf grass. Now, a lot of individuals, a lot of homeowners took advantage of the almost ideal September that we had this year for either establishing or renovating cool season turf grasses. There was plenty of adequate moisture without the need for excessive supplemental irrigation, and the temperatures were good enough to provide really good germination. So we're standing here in these plots, and these were seeded on the 17th day of September. And these are all tall fescue blends, and they have germinated, come in really well. But as we're looking at this turf grass, we're also noticing not only the grasses, but also some of the broadleaf winter annual weeds that have come in. For example, here we've got some common chickweed, and if we look a little bit closer, we can see we've got some pretty healthy young henbit plants that are coming in here. Plus, we've got juvenile goosegrass. So we got our cool season grass weeds, and we got our warm season grass weeds that grow out here right now at the same time. Isn't Tennessee a wonderful place? We have diversity. So you've gone to the trouble, you've gone to the expense of establishing some good cool season turf grass. It's up, it's growing really good. What can you do about those weeds? Well, right now, while these weeds are young and actively growing, is a pretty good time to do some weed control options on those. There are a number of different products that are available for homeowners. I've got some listed or sitting right here. These are all examples of products that you can pick up at garden centers. They're all labeled for homeowners to use. If you'll check the labels on them, they're very similar in terms of their active ingredients. They're all 2, 3, or 4-way active ingredient products, meaning that they've got multiple active ingredients. And typically, those products that have multiple active ingredients will give you a broader spectrum of weed control. But one thing you've got to keep in mind is pay attention to that label to ensure that you are applying the herbicide to grasses that are mature enough, strong enough to handle the herbicide application. You know, these 3 different products here, here's one called Weed Beater Ultra from the Bonide Company. This is Ortho Weed Be Gone. It also has some crabgrass preventer in it, or some crabgrass control, and this is a Spectricide Weed Stop for lawns, also with some crabgrass control in there. The crabgrass control is not necessary now, but it's still going to work on these broadleaf weeds that are out here. But the thing to keep in mind when you check that label is that it's going to tell you that that grass needs to be at some level of maturity, that newly seeded grass does. It can be, for example, this one, the Bonide, suggests that you need to wait until you have mowed the grass for the second time before you apply this herbicide product. The other 2 that are here with me say that their labels say that you need to wait until that grass has been established for approximately 6 weeks. That's just to ensure that there's enough maturity on the grass that the herbicide application is not going to damage it. But taking care of these broadleaf weeds, these winter annual broadleafs now, instead of waiting until we get up into November, it gets cooler, and maybe the herbicide activity is not going to be so great in the November-December time frame, and then we start moving on into the spring of the year when these weeds begin to bloom and reproduce. taking care of them now, it's much easier to control them while they're young and actively growing. And we're also starting to break that cycle where we're not allowing them to reproduce, put more seed back in the ground, and keep adding to that seed bank. So maybe in the long run we can start to take away from the seed bank and in the future start to reduce overall weed pressure.
Well, thank you so much. Our UT Ag Extension Service is really important. They help us no matter where you are in the state. There is an office near you. Everything from grants that are available this time of year or just asking free questions. I think that's awesome. Well, now it's time for our motivational moment. We love to do that just a little bit every day. And my friend John Mahomes from Holmes Pest Control, she has a grandson she calls the Grand Prince, and he is a master gardener, and he's just a kid. He's amazing what he does, and he has things to turn you on to, and he wants to show us a little bit of his garden. Stay tuned for the motivational moment.
I have one more in here, but I wanted to tell you first about my leaves and how I get them to look so nice, green, and pretty. Well, I sometimes would come out here, put seasoning down in the soil and where like the roots actually grow. So, and cinnamon actually helps them grow faster, and it also makes your leaves come out nice, strong, and green and fresh. But we have one more down in here. This time I'm gonna cut this one because it's in here pretty good. And this one didn't get out of size too quickly because it was actually a little smaller than the one before. Now we can get the bucket and show.
That's his garden. This kid planted all of those things you saw around him, from flowers, and you should see the front yard. Follow John Mahomes to find out on Facebook to find out a little bit more about what this master garden did. And we were asking him what he's talking about. He puts seasoning and he seasons his garden, and he's talking about cinnamon. And when we asked where he got that information, it was something called Creative. Oh, let me get this right. I want to make sure that I've got it right, because he found them online. And Creative Explained. You can find that on YouTube or on Instagram. But I thought, when we're talking about cinnamon, let's go to the source that he learned a lot of his gardening tips from. Creative Explained.
You won't believe what you can do with cinnamon. You can sprinkle some on top of the soil of your plants and it'll encourage root growth. And because cinnamon has antifungal properties that will prevent mold and fungi from appearing on a soil. Fungi. I'm a fun kind of guy. Plus, you know those annoying gnats in the soil? Well, guess what? Cinnamon gets rid of them too. You can also clone your plants with cinnamon. Just get a cutting, cut the stem on a 45-degree angle, dip it in some cinnamon, and plant it in a pot with soil. And you can treat plant diseases by making cinnamon water. Just mix 1 teaspoon of cinnamon with some water in a spray bottle. Spray it directly on the leaves of your plants and let the cinnamon do its thing. And finally, when you're sprouting seeds, sprinkle some cinnamon on it. It'll encourage them to sprout. Cinnamon is truly magic for plants.
I love that guy. Creative Explained. You can follow him on Instagram, YouTube, and he does those little short videos and anything from cleaning hacks to planting hacks. I love him. So follow him and follow his tips. He's really a wealth of information. Y'all, that's Farmin Friday for you. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you're out planting your new grasses and planting your new fall trees. Now is the season. Everybody thinks about the spring, but the fall, as the leaves come down, we got to do something. And instead of just throwing stuff away, let's figure out how to compost and reuse. How about it? Have a wonderful weekend. I hope that you enjoy all the things there are to do. Be safe, be kind, and remember, most of all, you are loved. Why?